everybody, it's Jody and I'm back with another review for you today. Today we're going to be reviewing the Aklot Bamboo Tenor Ukulele. If you're a regular on my channel, you've already seen this baby in action a couple of times. I did an unboxing about a week ago, and then I also played this ukulele in my first ever YouTube live. That was kind of like a little impromptu YouTube live, but it's still on the channel if you want to check it out. And I played a few songs with this ukulele. So before we get started, I do want to mention that Aklot sent me this ukulele for free. And I wanted to disclose that, but there was very little actual communication between me and Aklot. They just said, we'd like to invite you to review our new product. And I said, sure, I'd love to. And then they sent it to me. So there was no stipulation as far as what I had to say or how much I had to play it on my channel or anything like that. They just sent it to me and invited me to review it. So that being said, let's get started. This, I'm going to talk about the specs, and then we'll talk about the design, then we'll talk about playability, sound, and then finally value and quality control. So let's get into it. The specs of this ukulele are very interesting. This ukulele is made out of 100% bamboo. So the front and the sides and the back are all made out of bamboo. But so is the neck. The neck is bamboo, the fretboard is bamboo, and the bridge is bamboo, which means this ukulele has no wood on it whatsoever, because bamboo is not a wood. Bamboo is a grass, and so it's not wood. I've seen reviews refer to this as wood and tone wood and saying this is a solid wood instrument. It's not actually wood. It's similar. I mean, obviously it's similar, but it's not. It's grass. So let's talk about that a little bit. Bamboo is obviously ecologically friendly. It can be harvested every 4 to 5 years. In fact, one source on the internet said it was the fastest growing plant in the world. And compare that to wood that needs 60 to 80 years before it can be harvested. Obviously, this is a really great alternative and something that maybe we should consider. We'll talk about it more when we get into the sound, but definitely ecologically friendly. Now, bamboo, I'm sure you're familiar with what it looks like. It grows in big hollow reeds, so they need to cut those into strips, glue them together to make this panel. I'll just get in a little bit closer to show you once more. So my first question before I received this, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me, was I was wondering if they made that, glued the strips together and made like a bamboo veneer and then slapped that on a piece of plywood, and it was making it more of a bamboo laminate type instrument. But when I received the instrument, I did some inspections and I looked inside the sound hole. You can see the bamboo grain in there. You see that? So it is actually a solid bamboo. Not solid wood, but it is a solid bamboo instrument. That being said, it's still pretty light. It is 1.3 pounds or 21 ounces. Aside from the bamboo, we do have plastic nut, which is 35 millimeters, and plastic saddle, which is compensated, which means some of the strings sit at slightly different heights, which is supposed to improve intonation. I don't know much about compensated saddles, but there we have it. We do have the bridge is screwed on, but those dots are smooth. It doesn't look like screw heads. We've got these open geared tuners, which I really, really like. Let's get it. There we go. I really like these tuners. I don't even like gold, and I like this black and gold combination. I think it's really striking. And aside from just the looks of it, they're also very smooth. I noticed that right away when I tuned this, that they're very smooth, so I really enjoy it. And also they're holding the tune remarkably well. Pretty much after I tuned this the first time, I haven't had to tune it again. And I can't really explain that, how these strings were so settled upon arrival, but they were. The strings are Aquila Nile gut strings. We'll talk more about that when we get into the sound as well. This does have white fret markers on the front, and it's got the fret markers on the side. It came with strap buttons. It also came with a strap, a checkered strap, and a case, which we'll talk about when we get into value. Oh, and it came with a few picks as well. I think that's about all the specs that we have to discuss. So let's talk about the design of this ukulele a little bit as well. It's very striking because it's all bamboo. It's got this uniform color, and it's very unique, not just in looks, but in materials as well. I think that's one of the big selling points of this ukulele. I am aware that there are a few other bamboo ukuleles on the market. Luna, for instance, has a whole series. They make them in all the different sizes, but they use a mahogany neck and a walnut fretboard, and it looks more like a traditional ukulele. Also, I don't know if it's solid wood or, solid bamboo or more of a laminate. I'm not sure. I've never seen one in person. But regardless, this is very unique, and this is really the only one I've seen where everything is bamboo on it. However, this right here has got to go. It says designed by Aklot right there on the lower bout of the instrument, right in the front. And I just don't care for that at all. I don't think it's necessary for brands to put their name on the front of your ukulele. Now, the good news is apparently they are going to get rid of that in the next production of these. I saw that in a comment on Rich Davis's review of the Aklot. So I hope that that is truly the case and they're going to get rid of that extra branding on the front. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it kind of draws away from the classic look of this, classic and natural look of this ukulele. But Aklot, I hope you're still listening because I have a couple other minor suggestions that I think could really help with the overall design of this ukulele. And the first one is strap buttons. They don't match. I think it would be really nice. I already spoke about how striking these tuners are with that black and gold, and I think the contrast looks really good with the ukulele. So I think we need to bring down some of that black and gold elements, and the tuner is a perfect place to do that. The strap button is the perfect place to do that. Wouldn't it look cool with a black strap button and a gold screw? I think that would be really cool. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Also, I think that these fret markers should be black as well, and I think the contrast would look nice, but also it would increase the playability because I'm having trouble. You can't even see them like from here. It's very hard to see the fret markers because the bamboo is also such a light color. And I think black would make it a lot easier to play, but also, again, add just a tiny bit more contrast and tie that black in down with the rest of the ukulele. So those are my suggestions on design. Let me know what you think. Do you think it would look good with a black bridge as well, or no? I'm kind of thinking no. But anyway, Aklot, what do you think? Are you willing to make a couple more little adjustments? I think it would really help elevate the overall design of your ukulele. All right, so now let's talk about playability. First off, the frets are super smooth. I haven't had any issues with that whatsoever. The nut I already mentioned is 35 millimeters, which for me is very comfortable and I like it. 35 is pretty common, especially for more entry-level ukuleles. But tenors tend to have sometimes a wider nut, and certain brands just always use a wider nut. But for me, this 35 millimeter nut enhances the playability. For some people with big chunky fingers, it's gonna be a con for them, but for me, I like it. The action is really nice. It's really nice action and pretty easy to play. So I'm really enjoying that. The intonation is really good. I don't know if it's because of this compensated saddle or also because of the nice low action, but the intonation is really good all over the neck on this. And again, it's got strap buttons so I can hold it, and I've been using the strap. I just think they just distract during reviews. So playability, pretty nice. It's kind of a joy to play. So let's get into the sound, shall we? Up the neck a little. That's my fault. Let's start that over. That's what I'm telling you. We need fret markers, black fret markers. Okay. Please don't judge the sound based off my horrible playing. Let's do another finger picking example. All right. So that's what it sounds like. What do you think? I'll tell you what I think. I like it. It's kind of crisp. It's got this crispness, kind of like a spruce, and it's got a little punch to it, and it's got a sweetness to it that I wasn't expecting at all. And put that all together, and it's kind of jangly in my book. That's my definition of jangly: crisp, punchy, and sweet. So I kind of like it. Now, it's not super loud, but I wouldn't also say that it's super quiet either, because you can dig into it and get more volume out of it. And I like to do that sometimes. Sometimes I like to just wail. And if I try and play like that on one of my really loud ones, like that Koaloha that's sneaking in the corner right there, it gets too loud, and I certainly can't sing and play like that at the same time. So I'm kind of starting to appreciate less ukuleles with less volume, because they do serve their purpose, and you can dig into it a little bit more, or you can play it at night when other people are sleeping. So the volume doesn't really bother me. But if you're looking for a really loud ukulele, this one is not it. It's not, I would not say it's loud, but I'd say it's medium. Its sustain is, it's not the best. I like this a lot better strummed than finger picked. But again, I just like the overall tone. And I am not an expert by any means. I've only been playing like 2.5 years or so, but I just have this suspicion that this one is going to open up with time, just like a solid wood ukulele would. I just kind of have that hunch. I don't know. I also wonder what it will sound like with other strings. I am, of course, going to experiment and play around with that and do some sound comparisons and bring you along for the ride, because that's what I do here. But I also have a little suspicion that maybe the Aquila strings are the best ones for this instrument. And I don't usually prefer Aquilas, but I'm liking the crispness of this instrument. And I don't know, you let me know if you have a recommendation for a string that's going to bring out the sweetness even more. That's the only thing. I would like to just enhance the sweetness of this instrument. I'm really enjoying that. So that's the sound. So let's get into the value and quality control. This instrument is about $125 on Amazon. I am going to link it below. But when I checked yesterday, they had it for $119 on Amazon. So, you know, in that ballpark. It does come with a really nice gig bag. It's heavily padded. It's got some extra reinforcement up here. It's got a really thick handle. It's got backpack straps. Yay! It's got a loop where you could hang it, and it's got a nice big pocket with some depth to it, and it's just nice and sturdy. It's a nice color. I like the gig bag a lot. And I mentioned it came with the strap. Strap's fine too. And it came with a couple picks for $125. Now, it does have this sticker on the back. It says quality control passed. And it, even says Aklot ukuleles on their quality control. So this ukulele, according to them, passed their own quality control standards. However, there are some issues with it. Now, the first one is right below that A. Do you see that? That's like a chunk of the bamboo is taken out right below the A. There's also a little chunk taken out at the neck, and it's going to be right where my finger is, right here. And I'll try and turn it. Do you see that? There's just like a little chunk taken out of the neck. Right there. And lastly, and most seriously, there is a little section about 1 inch long right here where the bamboo is separating. Now it's not a crack because it's not going through one of the slats of bamboo. It is right where 2 pieces are glued together. So I think it just came unglued, and this one may have happened after it left the factory. And I do think it can be repaired pretty easily if you had the right touch and you could apply a tiny bit of glue and then a clamp right here on the side that's raised a little bit, and I think you'd be good to go. But I've never, had that on a ukulele, and I don't like it, and I think if it doesn't get fixed, it will spread. So I don't like that. I debated when I first got it because I noticed it right away. I debated sending it back to them before I did the review, but I decided to wait and leave it in the review just so you know that you could have some little issues. Now, these two, I'm not sure. It really depends on how perfectionistic you are, whether or not you would should return it based off of these other 2 blemishes. I probably wouldn't, but this one I would. So the good news is purchasing off of Amazon, returns are pretty easy, and I think it would probably be okay. But it's not ever fun to get a brand new ukulele that has chunks taken out of it and very noticeable, obvious blemishes. And I think that's where this brand differs a little bit from some of the more established brands like Kala. For example, Kala has plenty of models in this price range, and I think their quality control is a lot more consistent. So just keep that in mind. I sometimes feel like some of these import brands that, only sell on Amazon, I sometimes feel like they're a little bit of a gamble as far as the quality control and what you're going to get. This one also has some bamboo characteristics on the fretboard. I've got another video I'm going to try and splice in showing that. But I don't really think that's a blemish. I think that's just part of the natural bamboo that they chose to use, and I'm kind of okay with that. Usually I like fretboards that show some natural wood grain or veining in the wood. I think that's kind of cool. I just don't like the location of this one because it's such a high traffic area. It just kind of comes across looking like it's dirty because you play there a lot. So I kind of wish that was like down here or something. But be aware that you could have little, it's not really a blemish, but little bamboo grain in your fretboard. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about this one. I think they're off to a good start, and I hope they continue to listen to the ukulele community as we share our feedback on their instruments. I went to their website and they describe themselves as a newer ukulele maker that wants to build high quality. They in their description they said, you know, we are planning on making a bamboo one. So but they also said and koa and maple, and they want to experiment with different materials. So my advice would be slow down, get this one right. I like the sound a lot, but we just need to be more, a little bit more stringent with our quality control and our craftsmanship. And, you know, no need for that. But I think they're on the right track, and I'm kind of excited to see what they choose to do next. So, as always, please leave your thoughts and your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think of this ukulele. And have a great day, guys. Don't forget to play your uke today. I've got lots more fun stuff coming up. So stay tuned, and I'll see you real soon, guys. Bye.